Good evening. In today's segment, I would like to discuss about limiting factors. In the natural world, limiting factors like the availability of food, water, shelter, and space can change animal and plant populations. Other limiting factors like competition for resources, predation, and disease can also impact populations. If any of the limiting factors change, animal and plant populations change too. There are plenty of limiting factors we can identify uh, in the places where we live as human beings. For example, scarcity of water is a limiting factor. Scarcity of food or high prices to buy food, too expensive, is a limiting factor. And sunlight is a limiting factor. When there is no sunlight at the bottom of a tree, no plant can grow. So that's a limiting factor. And also global warming is a limiting factor. Issue of water is limiting factor. Temperatures, climate change, too much carbon in the atmosphere is limiting factors. When limiting factors limit the ability of an organism to live, that organism has to look for adaptation. Some animals, when they don't find food, water, shelter, space, they move away to another ecosystem and adapt to the new environment. This is how ecology was responding in the time of limiting factors. When the limiting factors threaten the livelihood, this is how animals were behaving for the past maybe billions of years. But only one species, that is Homo sapiens, everything changes. Homo sapiens encounters hundreds of limiting factors, but he won't move. Other animals, they fly away, they run away, they swim away, they climb away, they hop away. But Homo sapiens never do anything and sit in one place like a couch potato. So that is what Homo sapiens is known for. He will never change an ecosystem and adapt to the new ecosystem, but he will bend the environment. Probably he will bring that another ecosystem in a truck or in a ship, and probably he will change his own lifestyle. That is what he does. He doesn't changes to the environment, but he makes changes to his own lifestyle by bending the environment to suit his needs. So that is the root cause of all evil. That is the root cause of global warming, climate change, issue of water, other ecological issues, loss of species, because we don't go by rules. We don't go by laws of biology and ecology, because we dictate our own rules to ecology and environment. Other creatures just obey the laws of biology. That is the difference between Homo sapiens and other billions of animals and plants. You see, changes constantly occur in every ecosystem, whether it's natural ecosystem or man-made ecosystem. Some changes may cause their population to increase. When the limiting factors are good, populations, they tend to increase. If there are more plants than usual in an area, populations of animals that eat that plant may increase. If one animal's population increases, the population of animals that eats that animal might also increase. In other words, when there is too much of grass, rabbit populations, they tend to increase. When the rabbits increase, the foxes, they come because they are predators. They would like to eat rabbit. They come and eat the rabbit. When rabbits increase, more foxes would come and live in that ecosystem. Increases in population aren't always good. Sometimes a population will grow too large for the environment to support. I'm afraid that is what happened to Homo sapiens. I think other ecosystems where animals live, they never overpopulate. They never ever overpopulate. But when you talk about Homo sapiens, the story is entirely different. The carrying capacity of the earth is today 7 billion. 24th May 2017 today. 7 billion plus. By the turn of the century, that is 2100, according to IPCC's calculations, 10 billion people. So there are limiting factors for human populations already. It's very hard to get by those limiting factors. Actually, other changes in limiting factors will cause a population to decrease. So if you don't live by the laws of biology, catastrophe is inevitable and the population will be reduced. There will be a calamity. Once there is no water now for 7 billion people, there is no food, there is no proper resources for 7 billion people means, what about the 10 billion people in 2100? Where are the resources? Where is food? Where is water? Where is shelter? Already thousands of ecosystems are destroyed for human purposes. What's going to happen? Naturally, a calamity, a catastrophe, where probably more than 90% of human species probably go extinct. Our population will be made to decrease. If a population becomes diseased, the population may decrease or they die off. The population may decrease, and the population of animals that eat the diseased animals will also decrease. For example, there is a fox in an ecosystem, and there is a bear, and the foxes, they overpopulated, and no rabbits to eat, hunger. No food means limiting factor. All the foxes, they are hungry now. All of them died. So when they die, naturally, the bear that depends on the foxes, because bears, they can carnivores and also herbivores. They can eat vegetables and meat also. So the bear population that depended on foxes, they also decrease. They also disappear because the whole food source is destroyed. The limiting factor here in this ecosystem, there are no foxes to eat by bears. In nature, populations usually balance themselves, except Homo sapiens. We don't know how to balance because we don't want to be a part of in a chain. The web of life, we don't consider ourselves as a link. We consider ourselves, we are outside the web of life, and we are sitting there as a spectator and as a conductor, and we are orchestrating the whole universe, and I am the Lord of the universe. That is. So All populations, those who are in the web of life, balance themselves naturally. Sometimes, when man impacts populations, they can't always re-establish a natural balance. It's all right. Homo sapiens chooses to be outside the web of life. Good luck. It's no problem at all. But always he pokes the finger in that chain of web of life. If you stay alone as a loner, you go to somewhere in a space and you live happily ever after, and you don't have to come here and disturb. So you escape and you are special. You are image of God and you are a special creature, and fly away. Don't stay here. This is not the habitat for you. Your habitat is maybe heaven or somewhere. So if you choose to live here, you have to be part of the web of life. So, but here we are not part of it, but we are above it. And we always interfere. We impact the populations. We impact negatively the ecosystems, and they are damaged. And they can't always re-establish a natural balance because of human poaching, habitat destruction, or exploitation, hunting. Humans can impact animal and plant populations. When humans develop land for houses, agriculture, buildings, they cut down trees and change animal and plant habitats. Some animals, like the monkey and the mongoose, can adopt, but other animals can't adopt, and their populations are affected. You know why thousands of monkeys in India? Because we destroyed their habitat. Habitat means their living space. So they don't have a home. And when they destroyed probably the forest, 90% of the animals, they were driven to extinction. They all disappeared. But some animals, they had the ability to adapt, like monkeys. Monkeys have enormous amount of skill to adapt. So that's why monkeys everywhere in India, they don't own any homes. So they come and live on the homes of the human beings. In the first place, these human beings, they stole monkeys' habitat. Today monkeys defy. We don't go to forest. We are going to live on your houses. Good for monkeys. I love them. I love them. Some animals like the monkeys, no, they can adapt. Mongoose also can adopt. It's a very strong animal. But other animals, small amphibians, vertebrates, reptiles, birds, they were driven to extinction. They are lost to the planet forever. The common bird nests, you must have seen bird nests, on land near the large lakes. Very often we see that. Some bird nesting places have been taken over by human development, and the bird population has decreased. Today you don't see too many nests. When I was a small little kid, I see bird nests everywhere. They are so beautiful. But now, only few bird nests, because humans have, even the bird nest, they have taken away from the birds. Pollution can also hurt animal and plant populations. Sometimes hunting can impact animal populations. Whale populations have been lowered because of overhunting. It's all again only human activity. Human activity has become a biggest limiting factor for all life on earth, for animals and plants. Human behavior is a limiting factor. Human lifestyle is a limiting factor. Human habits, they are the limiting factors to other life on earth. In nature, there is a great bond between two organisms known as predator and prey. And this relationship can act as a limiting factor too. Predator-prey relations play a big role in animal populations. The balance between predator and prey is changed. Populations are changed. The monkey population in some area has grown too large because there are no natural predators. In India, there are no natural predators for monkey. When monkeys were living in a forest, tigers, lions, wolves, they were the natural predators. They were eating monkeys and limiting. That was a limiting factor for monkeys not to overpopulate. But now all the monkeys live in human civilizations. There are no tigers, there are no lions, there are no predators. So monkeys, they don't have natural enemies and they proliferate. They bring out babies and they overpopulate. So that is what is happening in India everywhere, monkeys, because there are no predators for monkeys in their habitats. The monkey population in some areas has grown too large because there are no natural predators. Tigers and wolves are the natural predators of the monkeys. Tiger and wolf populations have been lowered due to overhunting and habitat loss. Tigers, there used to be 30,000 tigers all over India, but today only 3,000 plus. There used to be wolves everywhere in India, millions of wolves, but now probably hardly few thousands because of human activity, of overhunting and habitat destruction. This loss of natural predator for the monkey, along with other factors, has led to overpopulation of the monkeys in some areas. You know what? Why human species today has reached 7 billion mark? Because humans, they don't have predators. We don't have natural enemies. There's no animal can eat us. Only we eat other animals, and we set limiting factors for them, and but they never able to set limiting factors for us. So probably few million years back, when we were living in Africa, those animals were eating humans as humans eat other animals. It's all reciprocal, and I eat you and you eat me. That is how our life has been. But today we have protected ourselves too well, so no animal can eat us. So naturally there are no predators for human beings. That is why we proliferate like monkeys. At least monkeys have little limiting factor. That's humans. They poison their habitat and probably they chase them away. They scare them away. So humans act as a predator to monkeys. But for humans, there are no predators. But yes, like mosquitoes, they are predators. They should bite you, and you should get malaria, and you should get sick, and you should die. That's how human populations have been structured in nature. That means that is how you limit your population. But unfortunately, today humans have invented poison to kill the limiting factor. That is, so all the limiting factors, humans have learned to eliminate them. So slowly, absolutely, Homo sapiens becomes the predominant species or keystone species or keystone species. Lot of names we can use. So every 7 billion human beings, they are the keystone species. They are the dominant species. Of course, we are right. We are the king of the universe. So anyway, I hope you understood what are the limiting factors. And in nature, if we want to continue our life in the future, I think we need to obey the laws of biology and nature. We need to obey mother's laws. What mother is telling you. The mother earth is telling this is how you have to live, this is how you have to behave, these are the laws I give you. So if you want to continue to live in this house, that is our common home planet earth, this is what you should do. So these are the limiting factors. Don't try to eliminate limiting factors. You don't cut corners with the limiting factor, but respond them the way you should respond. That is how you can find your future. Thank you. Bye.